Hey, Kara.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, do you remember the first time that you made me clean Monday ramen?
I do.
I do too, because I was not a ramen person, and you showed me that I could do ramen in a healthy way. And so their gluten-free ramen seasonings and organic noodles are so good. They're totally allergen friendly, and it's finally ramen that we and I can feel good about.
Yes, and seriously, I use the chicken ramen seasoning all the time. And I just ordered their new plant-based vegan protein powder. It is so amazing. It's just 8 clean ingredients, no soy or junk, and it actually tastes amazing.
Right? All of their stuff is gluten-free, dairy-free, non-GMO, and no MSG. So all the things. It's just bold, real food flavor that you can feel good about.
Yeah, we can't stop raving about it at our house. So here's the deal. Everybody who uses our special link with the coupon code CARA, all caps CARA, will get 10% off everything. And you can grab that code in the description of the show notes below.
Seriously, guys, try it. You're going to love it as much as we do. Clean Monday meals, clean ingredients, big flavor, happy you. Hey, Kara.
Hey, Sarah.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Awesome.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. We are a couple weeks away from Thanksgiving
Crazy.
and everything that happens that week, which I actually wanted to ask you because there's lots of things big that happen that week, but one of them is Black Friday shopping. And I was just curious, where do you land on all the
Well, I land on not
things?
going to stores.
Sure.
Now that everything's online.
I know.
I feel like COVID really did change my shopping habits. I definitely am more of an online shopper for everything now.
Yeah.
I am not really that big about Black Friday because I feel like now that our kids are bigger, they're grown.
Yes.
They're grown. I mean, they kind of, we get them like one, larger gift.
Yeah.
And so it's probably not going to be on sale or not that much off that's worth it for me to go, get 20% off a sweater or whatever.
Yes.
I definitely was a huge Black Friday shopper. When my kids were little, I would wake up and be at Target at 5 a.m., in line with all the crazies, just waiting. And actually, we used to, on Thanksgiving, my mom, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, we would go to Garden Ridge. Do you remember that store?
Oh, yes.
Because it would open at like 2 or 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So we would eat lunch. The guys would stay and watch football. And then we would go and go shopping at Garden Ridge. And what did we buy? I have no idea.
No idea.
But it was always just a thing that we could get out of the house and go do it. And I'm not super big on Black Friday. I did tell you last week, though, I'm behind on Christmas shopping.
Yes.
But I'm kind of getting that under a handle and under control. So I don't think I'll be doing too much Black Friday shopping. What about you? Do you do?
So I'm the exact same way. It's not at all a thing now, but it really was. I would say back in 2000, like 7, 8, 9. I was single. I had bought a house in the Plano area, and so this was back when, like you were saying, it was very different. Stores didn't open on Thanksgiving Day for the most part. Mm-hmm. They would open, I think Kohl's was like the main, I felt like they were the ones who kind of like pioneered it, but they would open at like 2 a.m. or like 3 a.m. And so, and I think Bath and Body Works was maybe another one that was doing it. But I had 1 or 2 years where I would do that. I would go to Kohl's and, do Christmas shopping. And I just thought it was a trip. I thought it was so funny. And the people, it wasn't ever crazy. Like, I don't think anybody ever got trampled at a Kohl's. Yeah. Like, it was always...
But the news made it like... every year,
right? I mean, I feel like
someone was going to get trampled.
Maybe, yeah, but
you should be aware of your safety and surroundings at these stores.
I always just had the best time, and so my dad was fascinated by this.
Okay.
And so this one particular year, he wanted to go with me, and so it was so much fun. So he came over, the end of, we had been together, I'm sure, on Thanksgiving, and came over that night, and we, just stayed up late, like watched TV. Maybe we both like fell asleep a little bit, like sitting on the couch. And then at like 2 a.m., we got our stuff and went to Kohl's. And he loved it. Like when we were standing in line, he just started talking to the people. Like, there was a kid in front of, we say kid, I mean, he was a, young adult. He was probably close to my age, who had graduated from college, and he just didn't have anything for his apartment. So he had like some dishes. And so my dad loved people, and he loved talking to people like that. And so I'll never forget just doing that with him. And then I'm sure we probably went and had breakfast at IHOP or something. And I like convinced him, I don't know that he became a Black Friday shopper, but I convinced him it wasn't crazy. Like that it was actually like enjoyable, and that you found like really nice people. And so that's like, when I think about Black Friday, that night with my dad at Kohl's will always be just one of my favorite memories.
Do you still think it's not crazy to get up at 2 a.m. and go shopping? Like, is that something you would do? Like, if I said to you, Sarah, on Black Friday, I want to go to the stores that open at 4 a.m.
I would so go do it.
You would?
Oh,
I'm not doing it. So, yeah. There's too many logistics I think about now that I'm older. Like, I need to wake up an hour before I leave and have my tea.
Yeah.
I need time to myself. I think I used to could wake up, throw on clothes, and leave. And I don't think I can function like that anymore. There's just my oldish body and my oldish brain need like my peaceful, calm morning and my caffeine.
We don't have to. Yeah, it's different now. But
what if we FaceTimed and ordered things online together? Not the same, huh?
No, not as much fun.
It's not going to matter. We're going to be at our ranch on Thanksgiving, and there's no shopping anywhere nearby.
Yeah,
so
that's fun. Yeah, we won't do it, but it's it's a fun thing.
Yeah,
nostalgia.
Yeah, you guys should let us know if y'all are Black Friday shoppers.
Because I to tell you the truth,
I think you need to put a poll on Instagram.
Okay,
Black Friday, yes or no?
Like in person, because that's what now that I'm thinking about it. To tell you the truth, I don't really know what it looks like these days.
Sure.
Because there was a season where everything was just opening on Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then I think one of the benefits of COVID is I think it did away with that. And I think maybe places went back to actually just opening on Friday.
Yeah.
But I could be 1,000% wrong on that. I have actually no idea.
That is one thing I do remember, that when we would go to Garden Ridge on Thanksgiving, I always felt bad for the people that had to work.
Yeah, on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I was always just like, man, I'm here enjoying myself, and you had to leave your family or miss your pumpkin pie and come to work.
Yeah.
So I don't like that part of it.
No.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody has to go to work.
Yes. Hopefully not.
Thanksgiving Day.
So last week we kicked off this topic for the month of gratitude and Thanksgiving and joy. Eventually we're going to talk about next time. And last week we got into just some of the cool mental health aspects that the research is starting to show the benefits of that, and that it lines up with scripture, what God has always said about gratitude and why that's so good for us. And so this week we want to zoom in a little bit on the idea of gratitude in relationships. So not just like close romantic relationships, yes, that, but kind of all relationships, all our interactions with people.
Yeah, I think it's so important to have gratitude in relationships because it keeps us away from the negative. Not that we can't address, obviously, issues, things that come up, but I think it allows us the space to be grateful for people, who they are, where they're at in their season of life, what's going on in their life, and grateful for their character, their qualities, the way God has gifted them in things. And so I love this idea that we're going to talk about gratitude in our relationships today.
And it is that intentional choice, because at any given moment, it's the old cup half full or half empty. You can pick either. And so which one are you going to pick? So one of the reasons, aside from the fact that it's biblical and it's part of living out our faith, but again, looking at where science is starting to catch up to what God has said, from Psychology Today, the research that they have done shows that expressing gratitude, so for couples that are in committed relationships, expressing gratitude makes there's a higher level of satisfaction in those relationships. Friendships are actually made stronger, and then co-working relationships are also impacted, where coworkers are more engaged. And so all relationships are positively impacted by gratitude, because just like you said, it's I'm choosing to focus on what's good. I'm highlighting what's good. And so that makes me feel good because I'm focusing on the good. But then when I express that to you, now you also feel good.
Yeah.
And so it's really not complicated.
Right.
Like we're talking about, science and research, but it's not a complicated thing.
Yeah.
Gratitude makes everyone feel better.
Yeah. And it's not I'm going to be positive in a fake way. No, it's definitely like focusing on the good things. And in turn, what that does, I know for me, when I focus on the good about someone, a relationship that I'm in, what it does is that it actually evokes this response in me where I say it out loud. I encourage them. And I think that then, that goes back to something we talked about way back with Suzanne Manning in September about how, like, when we do those things, it calls out what we want to see in that person.
Yeah.
And it calls people up to like a higher standard of like, oh, well, they noticed that I did this, or there's something that they're grateful for. I'm going to be sure that I live up to that expectation.
Yeah.
And that truly is biblical, right?
Yes.
And God, in the scriptures, God tells us, to focus on the good things, on positive things that are pure, lovely, right, true.
Yes.
And so I think when we do that in our relationships, that just in turn encourages people to live to God's standard of pure, lovely, right, and true.
Well, and it's speaking identity over them, isn't it? Because, scripture says that part of faith is calling things that are not as though they are. And so, especially when you think about, when you're raising kids or anything, when I can just declare over them what I know they are in Christ. Maybe they're not living this out today, just like the days I don't live out my true identity, but that doesn't change my identity.
Right.
And so when I choose to declare that over myself, to remind myself, or over someone else, it's still true, even if I'm not living from that place.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when we express gratitude like that, and I declare that you are these things and you are this kind of person, well, then I am going to naturally then walk in that and live in that space more easily, because it's that spiritual element that we can't always quantify or define, but we know that it's true. And so there's just only good things that come from choosing to express gratitude in our relationships.
Yeah, for sure. And when we do that too, it opens up space for when there needs to be a heart-to-heart conversation, when there needs to be, something where you come together with someone and you process something, whether or not it's an event or whether it's actually something that is maybe askew in the relationship. We see that in the New Testament. Paul does that all the time. He opens all of his letters with, I'm so thankful for you. And then he's able to share truth of like, hey, by the way, did you realize that you've gone askew from God's calling? Did you realize that you're listening to people who aren't actually speaking God's truth? He opens this letter up, all of his letters really, with like, I'm so thankful for you, who you are, who God made you to be, and our relationship. And now can I just tell you the truth of God's word over your life? And so it gives this space, and it also causes people to, I feel like, come into conversations with just a humility. And there's not this like immediate combativeness of like, well, you're calling something out in me. So, but instead we've been able to encourage, and that gives us like the right to step into the space of speaking God's truth over them. Yeah.
Because I'm experiencing that gratitude. It's not just the words, thank you. It's the heart posture of, I am grateful for you. And because then I know that you are grateful for me, then yes, there's a little more room in the relationship for some of those hard conversations. Yeah. It's a really, really good reminder.
I love it.
So we do see that modeled all through Scripture. It's important to Jesus. It was important in his interactions with people. There's a story that is in Luke chapter 17, where I'll kind of paraphrase that there's 10 lepers that Jesus heals them of their leprosy. And they all go, but then one of them comes back and he falls at Jesus's feet and says that he thanks him for healing him. And there's an obvious kind of moment of, okay, there were 10, but all 10 didn't come back. Only this one came back. And, he's already been healed of his leprosy, but then when Jesus releases him again, says to go, and that his faith has made him well. So it's this idea of another even level of healing that this man received because he came back and expressed gratitude. Yeah. And so there's so many powerful reminders in that of, yes, expressing gratitude to God, that there's a level of, our healing and our just continually being made healed and whole by having a posture of gratitude with him. But then just modeling that in all of our relationships and being that intentional, where it's not just this flippant, like, thanks. And again, those matter.
Sure.
I'm not saying there's not a place for those. But there's a deeper level of expressing gratitude that is this heartfelt thing that makes a difference in us and in the person that we're expressing it to.
Yeah, I love that story as you're just talking about it. Man, it makes my heart think of so many things. Like, number one, I can't wait to get to heaven and find out all the details of these stories, surrounding them before and after, and all the things that happen in these people's lives that we only get a glimpse into one section. But just thinking about Jesus saying your faith has made you well goes back to a few weeks ago. We talked about the woman with the flow of blood and like how Jesus healed her and then told her that her faith had made her well. There's so many parts to us, right? And just that leper coming back and having that posture of gratitude, what it did for his mind and his soul. Like, wow, because he could honestly in that moment be thankful for the healing, but also I bet he also could see how he was thankful for the disease and like how God used that to play out this story of his life and how he got to experience Jesus in that moment.
Yes.
So
it was Romans 8:28 before it was fully written.
Exactly.
Bringing good out of that situation. I feel like that is like one of our like go-to verses.
Kind of happens that way, doesn't it?
So when we think about gratitude and expressing gratitude, we're really talking about, it's a form of expressing love to someone for who they are and for what they've done. And so we kind of wanted to take a second to talk about love languages, because we feel like that kind of can tie into sometimes how gratitude is received. And so we want to talk about that, but we want to talk about the love languages first to kind of lay that foundation.
Yeah. So just in case people don't know, the 5 love languages, it was a book written long ago.
Yeah.
Goodness, I think that book was out when we first got married.
The problem with time right now is that we say something was like 20 years ago, and I feel like that was like the 80s.
Yes, exactly.
Like the 1900s.
I agree
80s.
with you. I'm still in that.
So I don't have a concept of time. Truly, when
for
something
me,
happened.
Everything time-wise, it's always, was it before I got married? Was it right when I got married? Was it before my children were born? Like, I have these markers of time, like, did it happen before this event or after this event? And so I don't know. But anyway, the 5 love languages. We'll link the book if you haven't read it. It's still a great book. And it still speaks to, how people feel love, receive love, give love. Yeah. So the 5 love languages that are listed are acts of service, physical touch, quality time, gifts, and words of affirmation. So. Do you know your love language?
I do. There's
a main one, right? Like you have a main one and then a secondary. Yes. I mean, it's sort of like a list. You rank them.
Yeah. So my main one is gifts, which I am able to fully embrace now. When I first was introduced to this idea, I kind of felt like shame. Like, what does that mean? I'm materialistic, or that feels like not a good one. But now, as I've just, even like walked with God and looked at it, like, could it be that if you don't really understand it and really don't even understand the gift of like giving? Yes. But as I've gotten older and I enjoy thinking of little things, and they're not expensive. It's a thought or an idea. And so now, because it happens all the time, we just randomly, I put something together in my mind and think of it and like, oh my gosh, that'd be so cute, or that would be so funny. And so now, rather than even like holding back on that or, tying anything negative to it, I remind myself, it's like, oh, I love that person. Like, this is me saying, I love you. And so, but that's definitely, and I do enjoy receiving gifts, but again, it's because what I'm hearing in that moment is like, you thought of me, like when I wasn't with you, and you thought like love, like you love me. And so gifts.
Well, and one of the things that I think about with the love languages is they are all expressions of God's character too.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
and so,
He's a great
you
gift
know,
giver.
The fact that you love gifts, you love to receive and give gifts, that's just an expression of God because he gives good gifts, right? And so, and he actually wants our gifts back. He asks us to give things back to him. And so I think that's beautiful. Yeah.
What about you? What's your number one?
My number one is acts of service.
Okay.
Yeah. My number two is gifts. I love to give gifts, and it's interesting.
You're a good gift giver.
Well, I don't know that I'm a great gift giver, but I do love to give things to people.
Yeah.
But when I get gifts from people, it's the same as what you said. Like, I feel like, oh, you thought of me. And then when I see the thing that someone gave me, it also just makes me think of them, and like, I feel like this love about them. But acts of service for me is definitely on the very top.
Okay.
Yeah.
My second would probably be words. And what's interesting about that, I think the way that I figured that one out was more of like the opposite of knowing how easily they wound is kind of what clued me into like, okay, it's one of my top ways that I receive love. And so then it can be one of the top ways that I can kind of get wounded. But I do think, so we both know what our last one is, which is kind of funny.
Well, I don't honestly... we talked about this earlier. I don't think what you think is my last one is my last one.
Oh, really? It's not?
No.
Quality time?
Quality time would be number 4 for me.
Okay.
Physical touch is like
my
very last one.
I know that, yes. Because I when I hugged you when I saw you this morning, and
you held on for such a long time. And I was like, let go.
And the moment has passed.
Suffocating.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, quality time is...
quality time is hard.
It's not that
me.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's just... the bucket is small. It's small but mighty. I care about it, but my tank empties so quickly.
And I'm with you. I care about it so much. I think it's so important. But I'm also like, to me, if someone pops in or I pop in to see somebody for 5 minutes, I'm like, whew, that filled me right up.
Yes.
I'm great
Same.
with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to be, 5 hours, which is hard then when someone in your life, that's their strong, their driving force. So it's like remembering to love people the way they receive love.
Yes.
That's a big thing in this book.
Yes.
Is like, how do we love people the way they receive love? And that is very hard.
Yes. But I'm glad that you kind of turned the corner for us, because that's really the point. Because obviously when we're coming from, the Jesus place is, okay, yes, it's good to know these things about yourself, so that then you can love someone else better. And that then is your primary concern.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to trust you to love me the way I need to be loved primarily, not another person. But then now, how can I go love someone else the way that's best for them?
Yeah.
Because love is patient, kind, all the things, that we know. It doesn't demand its own way.
Yeah.
And so that's so important to remember, is when, something that's fun, like the love languages, and is very true, but then we have to quickly tie it back into what scripture says, because then we can easily find ourselves just being a more place of like demanding of like, you need to love me this way. And it's like, no, the point of it is that now these are tools to go love other people better. And so that kind of segues into where we're talking about expressing gratitude in our relationships. And the reason why the love languages are important are because it may be that there are people who receive gratitude. If you have, you look at the 2 love languages, which are words of affirmation and maybe acts of service, that it may be that I, verbally express something to my husband, and maybe he, hears my words, but it doesn't like really penetrate or receive all the way deep to his core that like I'm telling you that like I'm grateful for you.
Yeah.
But if I can tie that into what his love language is, if it's acts of service, then that becomes more powerful because it's how he's going to receive it. And so I am expressing gratitude, but I'm thinking of the way that he best is going to receive.
Right.
And so that can make a difference. And sometimes that can help us love people or express gratitude to people if we think about it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really good. I think it is super easy to get trapped in the cycle of trying to give love the way we want to receive love.
Of course.
And, trying to think outside the box of like, how do you want to receive love?
Yes.
And how do you receive love well so that I can do that, which just shapes us and molds us more to look like Christ for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There may be times or occasions though where we express gratitude and for whatever reason it's just not received well, or we don't feel like it's it landed the way that we wanted. And I've walked through this recently with a long-term relationship that has had its ups and downs, but that there's enough of a history that I have a ton of things that I'm grateful for in this friendship. And I mean, great things, like great memories and so many fun things that I'm thankful for. And so I had shared that with this person, and they didn't really receive it like the same way. It didn't kind of go where I was hoping. And so I was processing that with the Lord. And because I kind of in my own mind then had set the list aside, like that it just, wasn't good. And I felt like the Lord brought me back to that. I was like, no, like you can still be grateful for all these, like these are your memories and your experiences and your gratitude list. Those things are real and they happened and you experienced them. And so there's a part of when we walk in our faith and we walk in obedience, whenever we feel like the Lord invites us to do something, the outcome isn't the sign of our obedience. That the outcome isn't what we're looking to, which is very different than the world. The world's all about results, but God's not as much about results. He's about, were you just obedient? Did you just do what I asked you to do? And so if we feel the push to express love or express gratitude, then saying yes and doing it, that's the win.
Right.
That's the obedience.
Yeah.
How it's received, whether or not it goes where we were hoping, we leave that to God and other people. Me and God is, I did what I felt like he asked me to do. And so I'm still going to celebrate that and be thankful and find the gratitude in all the things.
Yeah.
And so I think that can sometimes be a good reminder that it's really about you and God. And then yes, most of the time it's going to bless the person that is receiving it. But if and when it doesn't, or maybe we don't know, maybe that's not part of the invitation, is knowing, maybe it's sending a letter or, something that we're not going to see the outcome of. And that's okay. Like we can still celebrate in taking that step, even if we don't see the results.
One thing that I feel like I struggle with whenever in relationships, when someone tells me how they want to receive love, I feel like if it's not the way that I naturally give love, and then I try to do it, it feels forced and it feels fake, and then I don't want the person thinking, oh, well, she's only doing that because I said this is what I want. I want it to feel more natural, in a way that it's natural. I mean, I don't know how else to put that, but so it's just like, it's that kind of struggle of like, I want to love people the way they want to be loved, but I also have to figure out how it feels natural to me. And the only thing that I can come back to, honestly, is just asking the Lord to guide me and to help me to be able to love people the way they receive love best.
And to practice.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes when we do something that doesn't feel like our natural way, if I were to pick up a pen right now with my left hand, that would not at all feel natural.
Right.
But if for some reason my right hand were, permanently not available, like my brain is still capable at 47. It would not be as, quick as it was in kindergarten when I learned how to write with my right hand, but I am capable of becoming more and more comfortable with practice over time. And so like sometimes that's a good reminder of it can feel unnatural, but maybe if I keep going, or maybe if I see the response and see that it's received, then that kind of gives that, positive, affirmation that went well. And so then I can attempt that again.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think that's good. Okay, let's think about some like things that we're thankful for in relationships. I know one of the things that I feel like has helped me be able to have a closer relationship, like with my daughter-in-law, is to appreciate her for who she is, and to be able to just be thankful for the fact that she is a great mom. She is a great wife to my son. She loves homemaking. She loves to bake. She loves to create and craft and do all the things. And so I think in expressing those things to her, it's actually just drawn our hearts closer together, and so what are the things that you've seen in your life where you express those things to people and how it draws you closer to people?
I think kind of to your point is sometimes maybe looking for the things that are the differences that maybe in our flesh we might want to question, or in our nature criticize those things, or at least just think that it's wrong because it's different. And I think anyone who's married understands this. Like when you get married and you find out there's 2 different ways to load a dishwasher, or there's 2 different ways to
close a drawer.
But I think in my husband, and I think this comes with more time in marriage, that you start to see those differences as gifts, because it's the areas where he has strengths that I'm not as strong, or he cares about things I don't care about as much. And so it ends up being a good balance. And so I think especially as you do get older, because when we're young, I think with our friendships, we tend to just probably be drawn to the people that we are just like. Yeah. And I mean, we joke, we're very similar in a lot of ways, that's why we're friends, all the things we have in common, but we also are very different in ways. Yeah. And so I'm very appreciative of those, because those are the places that I feel like you make me better, or I have the potential to be better, because we talked about, many moons ago, that we become like the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And I think you're for sure one of my 5, and you're someone I'm good with wanting to be more like. And so I think the key is to identify those differences as really potential strengths and things that I admire. And maybe I'm never gonna, our youngest, Remy, she's been like this since the day I met her, that things just roll off her back. Like she can have, go through these difficult things, or, she didn't get in trouble a lot, but like if she did get in trouble, like we could still like hang out and like play games later that day. Yeah. I was and don't think I am that way. Like I am a powder. It ruins your whole day. It is hard for me to get myself emotionally out of that, and she can just bounce right back. And so the difference is, even I think like in your kids, because then I see Riley is this incredibly disciplined person, just naturally. And that, helps. I think that's helped her with being an athlete, with getting through school the way that she's got through school. And Caleb shares some of that discipline too, and their dad is that way. So I can see those things and appreciate those things, and let those rub off on me, and appreciate how I am different too, and just how that all comes together. So it's letting go of this mindset that things are wrong because they are different. And that is an extremely powerful negative way that the world is kind of moving in that direction, that different means like hate, bad. Negative. And so I just kind of went in this way like left field thing.
No, but I think what you're saying though, truly is like, as we get older, if we are healthy, like our mind and our soul are healthy, we can appreciate differences in people. And we also then, when those differences sort of rub a raw patch on us, we can also look at those differences through the filter of the Holy Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and we can respond in love instead of responding in like the world in hate or negativity or constant criticism. It's so much easier when our mind and our soul are in a healthy place to be able to respond to those differences with encouraging words, with positive words, with things that are true and right, and things that are lovely, like all the things that we talked about. And so I just think it's such a good thing, to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I think what just came to mind, we would just remembering that they are created in the image of Christ.
Image bearers.
Like they are God's image bearers. And so there's a uniqueness to them and a gifting to them that, doesn't look anything like me. And so looking for the God part in that, that then it just resets my mind of how I'm seeing them. Like, we're different on purpose, and that's good.
Well, and I know, what I just said about like when we're healthy and when we're not, I know I can see it so real and true in my life. Like when I am in a really good, healthy place mentally and spiritually, I am so much better at calling out the good in my relationships. And when I'm not, I'm not,
Right.
I get into this funk and it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I say things that, I really don't want to come out of my mouth. And it just creates a whole issue and a whole nother issue to work through. So,
Well, it's that good reminder that we talked about last time of remembering that, okay, that intentional gratitude, even if I'm not feeling it in the moment, it's just, that's that one step up, out of the pit, out of the funk.
Yeah.
And so sometimes those can be those little simple places where we can express gratitude in what can feel like the mundane. Like we all have our routines, our places that we go every week, the grocery store, or maybe your Amazon delivery person, or just the things that are the repetition. And maybe we even do express gratitude in the sense that we say thank you. But there can be a deeper level of with sincerity, like expressing gratitude in a different way, of instead of just a thank you, of, hey man, I really appreciate you today and everything that you're doing right now. Thank you so much. That sometimes those moments are good to remember in those places that are just kind of those frequent relationships, frequent habits, the places that we go, the people that we see, that those are great reminders for us.
Yeah, for sure.
To cultivate gratitude. Because, we just fresh perspective, fresh ways of looking at expressing gratitude.
Well, and I think too, expressing that to not just our inner circle of relationships, but, our UPS driver, I don't know, the people that you see on a regular basis that serve you in ways, because if you didn't have, like, who would be doing that job? And what would your life be like if you didn't have a trash man? I mean, right? If somebody didn't come and take away your trash every week, that would be terrible. And so we just need to be thankful even for those small relationships, as much as we think like, oh, well, that's just a service that happens every week. No, that's a huge thing in your life. Because if somebody didn't do that, you'd have a big pile of trash in your backyard.
It would not be good.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that, we think about a deeply meaningful relationship. We think about our husbands.
Yeah.
So what do you think are the best ways, or what in your experience have been the best ways of expressing gratitude to?
Yeah, I know that my husband enjoys when I write him notes. So I used to be really good at that. I need to be better at it again, at writing notes to him. The other thing and this isn't about expressing gratitude, but I think it means a lot to him, is something I used to do a lot, and I don't do it a lot anymore. I, again, need to go back to doing this. He loves it when I ask him how I can pray for him. And so, that to me is also an expression of gratitude. I believe prayer is such a high act of service to the people that we love, which is my number one love language. So to me, like, praying for someone is huge. And when someone prays for me, that just speaks volumes to my heart. And so I think, I guess I'm technically sort of asking him how I can love him in the way that meets my need, but he likes it. So that's good. So I know those two things for him are a really big deal.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's so funny that you said that about the notes, because I've always been a big note writer, and I do think I blame a lot of things on being in grad school, like not reading in my spare time anymore, and maybe not being as intentional with writing notes. But so that is a good reminder. And then, so I am a neat person. I would say I am not messy. I don't believe I am messy, and I don't think anybody that knows me would say that I am messy. But compared to my husband, sometimes I do feel messy.
You feel messy?
Yes.
Oh.
And so I know for me, expressing love to him is trying to see things the way that he sees them because I think my pattern maybe before, like when I was single, was I could leave things a mess for a few days,
Sure,
knowing, and actually maybe even knowing I would enjoy, like actually really, picking up and cleaning up when this day came around. And so that's just where one of the ways that we're different. And I understand now that kind of can create stress for him because it feels like, okay, there's stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And so that was part of understanding that. And so for me, I think that is one way I express that, love or that, gratitude. And I am so grateful that I don't think I've ever picked up after him, like clothes and stuff on the floor. Like that is just not, like he would be more likely to have to pick up after me. And so I'm grateful for that. And I probably don't just come out right and say that. But seeing the way that he sees and then trying to do likewise, because I know that then that blesses him, is a way that I express that non-verbally, but probably want to go in and add the verbal part because I think that matters too.
Yeah, no, I think that's great that you have ways that that he receives love and receives that gratitude. I feel like I need to be better about asking my husband how best he would receive that. I do know he loves notes, but I do think the verbal gratitude is something I need to weave in for sure. Because I will say my husband has, for sure, in the last couple of years, picked up a lot of our life. But I can see a trend in the last probably 10 years where he really came to a place where he realized how I received love, and he really stepped up and gave love in that way in a lot of ways. And I am so thankful, when I turn around and the dishes are done, or he's taken down all the trash cans, or, just those little acts of service that to me are a big deal, but I don't express them enough. So I need to be better about that for sure.
That's good. I like that because I think we kind of, we're not big on giving homework. But I think I have asked that question in the past, like probably years ago, you're first married and
sure.
But to ask now, like, about what that looks like to, receive gratitude.
Yeah. And it's so important too, if you're not married or even in all relationships, let's open up the pathway to have deeper relationships with people by asking those questions. And it can feel awkward and it can feel weird, but I think in doing it and just pushing past that little bit of like awkwardness and cringy part of like, hey, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
It really will deepen those relationships.
Yes. Because then once you know, and you have a little note thing on your phone and you just keep track of stuff. And it's that intentionality.
For
it's
sure.
Such a great word. And it serves us in every relationship, because if I'm intentional, it means I'm not taking you for granted.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the big difference, is otherwise we're just kind of taking each other for granted rather than being intentional and being like Christ and pouring into each other.
No, that's great. So this week we have some practical ways that people can show gratitude and reach out to relationships in their life. We want to encourage you to text or call 3 people. That's a lot, Sarah.
It is.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
In 1 week. I mean, you have 7 days, so you could plan that out. Write a short note to someone who has impacted your life.
And I want to add on to that one, if, it's not a must, But if you can, write a short note and like put it in the mail.
Yes.
And
mailing
get
cards
a stamp.
is so
yeah, it's
fun.
so, I mean, think about how often do you get anything in the mail that's not, you know, a bill or a coupon or whatever.
Or trash.
Yeah. So it's so nice to get those little notes.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then at dinner, you know, go around and say one thing that you're thankful for about each person at the table. So
that.
whether or not you have kids at home, it's just you and your spouse. And if you're single or widowed or whatever, make a date with a friend to go get dinner.
That's a great idea.
And sit and have that face-to-face eye contact and say, you know, things that you're grateful for about that person.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Lots of great ideas. And so I think something to always remember is that gratitude is contagious.
Yes.
And so if we choose to go first in relationships, the odds are really high that it's going to follow and be reciprocated. And so one of the things that it reminds us of is this quote that is kind of like just everywhere out there, that pain shared is pain divided. So kind of goes back to last month when we, you know, share the hard things, then it actually makes it less. But joy shared is joy multiplied. And so when we share the good things, we share the gratitude, then that actually grows and it multiplies in our heart and in our life. And so that's just a good thing to remember as we go forth with gratitude.
I love that.
This week.
I love that. Okay. And something else that we have that you can share with people is we have a special recipe created just for our listeners.
Yay!
For the fall season.
Yeah.
So I created a recipe for some pumpkin chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. So,
which are good. I've been a taste tester along the way,
Yeah.
and I didn't eat any of it raw. Just for the record, I do eat cooked cookies, baked cookies.
So we have that recipe available on our website under the freebies tab, and we'll link it here in the show notes. We also still have our gratitude journal.
Yes, for the month.
So, you know, download that and also send that link to a friend and tell them about the gratitude journal.
Yes, and you don't have to just use that in November. You know, if you're just now getting started, then you can use that into December.
Absolutely.
It is allowed.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. What are you going to be doing this weekend to enjoy the life that God gave you?
Well, Kara, my school semester is winding down, which I'm so excited. I'm so excited for next semester. I'm loving this, but I'm really looking forward to just some concentrated time at the library, finishing out some assignments for my classes for the semester. And so I'm going to enjoy God in that. I pray a lot when I do my assignments, just, you know, helping my brain do all the things. And so I do like school. I'm a bit of a nerd, but so I'm looking forward to enjoying that.
I'm super excited for you about that. Yeah.
What about you?
This week we have a wedding shower for actually it's my son's best friend, but he also works for my husband.
Okay.
And so they're getting married in December, and we have a wedding shower this week, and I'm excited about that. It's really fun to watch these young couples who love the Lord and are really like committed to walking in the ways of the Lord, who are getting married, and then you know they're going to have little babies that love the Lord too, which is fun. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
So we just want to encourage everyone to go enjoy the life that God gave you this week.
Yes.
Get the cookie recipe.
Yes.
Get your gratitude journal.
Yes.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for spending time with us today on That's Why We're Friends.
We hope you laughed, felt encouraged, and are walking away with a little more hope for your day.
If you love this episode, make sure to follow the podcast so you never miss what's next.
And share it with a friend who needs a little encouragement, because that's why we're friends.
Some products or services we mention may be paid promotions. Any advice shared should be confirmed with a qualified professional. Our conversations and opinions are meant for encouragement and entertainment only.